88.5 Surf FM, 5 minutes so after the hour of 10 a.m. in Surface Solution, of course, the Eastern Caribbean. It's funny when you hear a lot earlier and time seems to be playing a trick on you. With that being said, let me welcome in a long time, Mr. Junior Dennis. It's a pleasure to have you grace us here in the studio. A pleasant one to you.
Hey, good morning to you, Cabrin, and all our listeners this morning. You have to add the AKA Blast.
AKA Blast. My apologies.
Blast.
My apologies. How are you doing this morning?
Well,
sir?
I'm doing good this morning. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here this morning to have this conversation with you, this interview over the next hour. Hopefully, we get some positive things coming out of it this morning.
Definitely. Let me begin by saying congratulations to you, Coach, for this superb win on behalf of the team. I know with any and everything, there were always challenges as well, but then claiming the victory at the end of it all, this is what is most rewarding, not just you as the coach, but the team overall. So a little about yourself, and me just tell us about that experience. How was it nail biting for you?
Okay, well, just a little bit about myself. As most people know, I am a police officer serving our community. I am a husband and a father of 3 kids. And I am, for now, the coach of the Soufriere Kings basketball team. Yes. You want me to go into how it all started?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I love basketball. I've loved basketball my whole life. And I love it so much that even when I watch basketball on TV, I watch it on mute. I don't want to hear anybody's views on it. I just want to see the game in its purest form. So I've loved it for a very long time. I've played it for a very long time. I started playing in the national tournament for the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. And then when I moved back to Soufriere, I decided to play for my hometown team. So I have played for Soufriere for a couple of times. These were the times where we were in the trenches, so to speak. Okay, and then I didn't just decide. It was a series of fortunate events that caused me to become the coach of the Soufriere Kings team. Would you like me to continue?
So with that, can I just ask, what does it mean for the team and Soufriere at large?
Man, it means a lot. It means a lot. As we know, being Soufrierians, when it comes to the national stage, we are, and a lot of people probably outside of Soufriere may deny that, but there is a strong bias against teams in the South, communities in the South when it comes to national competitions, whether it be basketball, football. We've all gone through it. So it means a lot, not just to win this year, but to win two times in a row, last year and this year, to win that national tournament. Man, it's a pleasure for us that our community can rejoice and celebrate that fact.
Okay. What would you say was your game plan going into this tournament?
This season every season is going to be different. Every season is going to have. Last season was completely different. Last season, if I sit here and say that I knew all what I was about in terms of how to be a coach and what to do, I'll be honest and say no. We learned a lot last season, and this season was a little different in that even our starting 5, we did not have all 5 players for a lot of games. We were missing 1 or 2. So there's a completely different season. This season was just that we just had to find ways to overcome. I would call it that, our overcoming season this season. Just find ways to overcome our difficulties, and when players are not there, and when we get to tough times, just finding ways to overcome.
Definitely. With that being said, you mind sharing with us in terms of different people use different tactics to help them overcome challenges. What do you do? Because everything lies on you, whether it's the negative or the positive. The whole team actually is relying on you.
For me, I understand, especially from my work perspective, what leadership is. And leadership is you are responsible when it's good, and you are responsible when it's bad.
Yes.
And I try my best to lead with that. So I always tell my team, there is a reason why you have a coach. And at the end of the day, the coach may not always make the right decision, but the coach is responsible and will be held accountable for every decision made. So I try my best to listen to all information that I have coming in, especially from players on the court and whatnot, and to make a decision as to whether or not it's going to be the right decision only time will tell. But if it's the wrong decision, I know that I am ultimately responsible for that decision because I am the coach. The buck stops with me.
Which is true. And being here today, it enables you to really share with us what would be the greatest challenges you've had to navigate.
Currently, I would say there are some things what you call a good problem to have. The good problem that we have on this team is that I have like 2 or 3 players who could actually coach. We actually have a certified coach in Clayton Williams, SpongeBob. We have other coaches like, and persons who coach like Linzel, I'll say, and we have like Gracious. We have a number of people who are they're so high IQ. You cannot just tell them do this. They're gonna tell you, coach. But if I do this, this else is happening, and you have to be able to understand that they have an high IQ, they know the game well, so you have to be able to sit and have that conversation with them. But like I always tell them, even after we have that conversation, ultimately the decision still lies, with me. But that is actually a good problem to have players that what we call an extension of the coach on the court. They can actually look at the game, they can actually think through it, and they can actually speak to you on a very high level, so it helps. But then, there's a good and bad side to everything, but it helps.
Which is true. Let's again look at community, look at sports as well, look at the young people, or if we can even say the grassroots level as well. So do you think getting nestled into a sport like basketball can really transform someone's life?
Oh, it can very much so, because for us, especially basketballers, we have that thing about us. And one of the things I don't tolerate, I tell my players, your life outside of the court matters to me also. There is no way you can be involved in any activity that is a detriment to the community and play for me. Because as a matter of fact, I should probably start from the beginning so you understand what I mean by that. Initially, I was not supposed to be coaching. Okay, I wasn't supposed to be coaching. I was actually supposed to be playing as one of the veteran players on the team. So a long time ago, I think the first time I tried out for the Soufriere team, I got a very serious injury in my foot, and it took me about 2 months to walk. It took me about a year to just be able to comfortably run. So fast forward about 2 years ago, I was trying out for the team, and then my wife came to me, my beautiful wise wife came to me and said, "You know something? I think it's time you give up basketball competitively." Man, that was a hard thing to hear. But who better to give it up, the game that you love, for the woman that you love? And she was coming from a good place. I think what she was saying was that being my responsibilities in the family, I really couldn't afford a very extensive injury anymore, especially at my age. I'm not that young anymore to say I could bounce back very quickly. So, when she told me that, I was like, something, okay, babes, I'll just do just one last year. Just give me one last year. Coming out your ladies are, she's kind of like, yes, but in the same time, but she said, okay, I one last year. So I said, okay. So we started training, and then what we realized was that we had a lot of sponsors that came on board. And then our initial coach, Coach Docus, who coaches at the Soufriere Secondary School, I'm going to give everybody their flowers this morning. Coach Docus is really the reason why we are where we are right now. He has coached all of our players from secondary school going all the way to where they are. And even when he's on the court, he's like a coach on the court when we play and whatnot. So I'm going to give him his flowers to start. He's really the reason why we are where we are right now. But he had some difficulties. He couldn't coach. Then we had Coach Mara also. He had some family stuff and he couldn't do it likewise. So, I started thinking to myself, we have so many people who have invested so much money into us. It will be a shame to go into that competition without a coach. And especially what happens when you don't have a coach is that you have 4 or 5 people saying, let's do 4 or 5 different things. And it's going to get ugly really quick. So I sat there, for a while, and I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going to just be the temporary coach. So I gave up my spot and I said, okay, I'm just going to be the temporary coach for the year, just for that competition until we find another coach. But the difficulty in finding another coach is that a lot of the much older players, the game has evolved. So to bring in somebody from a different era into this present era, in just simple terms, say for example, the way Steph Curry has changed the game, everybody shooting threes now. That wasn't the case before. So I knew that it would be a problem to bring somebody who's from a different era. So I decided, something, let me, at least for the meantime, coach the team. And that is how I started coaching. It's not like I wanted to coach. It's not like it was always that's how we started coaching. But when I did take over the team, it's not just about the team, it's about the culture. I realized the culture had to change, and some hard decisions had to be made. There were a couple of players we literally had to tell them, "Yo, you don't assimilate to the culture what we're trying to build. We're gonna have to cut ties with you," and that's some hard things to do. And but I always try to speak to my players one on one. So when I took over, I literally called my starting five one on one, and we just had a conversation. One of the issues was that roles. People really didn't know what their role was on the team. When you're building a team, you don't want everybody's not supposed to do everything. It's a team. It's not what you bring to the team; it's what the team requires of you. So I had that conversation with everybody to start with. I don't know if you want to interject at this point, or want me to continue.
Permit me to. In terms of the crowd showing community support to those various games, a lot of the times when those matches are being held, I think time permitting is not always convenient for persons, and especially if it's not happening in the Soufriere Basin as well. So that could be maybe a factor that would diminish the number of patrons. In light of that as well, persons they come out with the enthusiasm, they come out with going to get it game day, bringing your A1 into it, everything to make it happen. There were still factors sometimes that would work against the odds. People tend to crumble a lot under pressure, nail-biting moments, and really being close to victory and still being far from it as well. How does it really work out? I mean, tell us on the field, walk us through that.
Okay, one of the reasons why the St. Lucia Basketball Federation, we have spoken to them last year. They did have, I think, one game here. I can understand where they're coming from, to be honest. The logistics is a lot for them to come down and actually set up everything for the game and whatnot. But the main issue we have in Soufriere, and I hope that district rep is listening, rain. That is our issue, rain. It rains a lot more in Soufriere than anywhere else on island. And that is the issue that we have in. I strongly believe that it doesn't matter which government is in power. I don't believe any government right now should be building outdoor courts that are not covered anymore.
I was just suggesting let's rally for an indoor facility.
We need an indoor facility. And let me probably highlight, we could probably build it next to the stadium in the empty space behind the primary school. There's space enough there for that. You need an indoor facility because that indoor facility can be used as a multi-purpose facility. You can play basketball, you can play netball there, you can play small goals there. You can also have activities there. You can have events there. That is our issue in Soufriere. And I really cannot blame them because Soufriere is a place, say for example, we have a Saturday game. From the time the sun rises to about 7, all is well. And then at 7, rain. So it's always an issue for us. So that is one of the reasons why. But in the same breath, having to play what we call on the road, having to play at the facility and not where we don't have supporters, it has enabled us to get really, really tough mentally as a team. Because we know that when we go up there, it's us against the world. So it has developed that fortitude in our mindset that it don't matter where we go, we're going to play Soufriere basketball. Doesn't matter to us.
Which is true. With that being said as well, could you tell us of the recent victory, saying that big check being flashed and all of that as well?
Okay, so when we got to the semifinals, we played a very good team at the semifinals. We won that handily. I think it was BFTF, good team, but we won that handily. The action really started for the Boseju team. That is a team that we played in. It's 2 games, best of 3 in the final. So we played the first 2 games. The first game we were down 14 at half after the first quarter. Okay, we made our necessary adjustments and we won that game handily. We won that game handily. The second game, I mean, to be honest, I'm not being biased. This is one of the best basketball games I've seen played for a very long time in St. Lucia. And I have to call out people like Ross and Clayton, SpongeBob, and these, I mean, everybody contributed. Don't get me wrong, everybody contributed, but those last second shots, to take these shots and make these shots, and that is why what we require of our senior players to be able to take on that responsibility to make these big shots, and they did. We had let me call our whole starting five. We have Kimo and we have Sydney, and Jay-Z, and that is what has really saved Soufriere basketball. You see that first those Kimo, Sydney, Jay-Z, that core will deliver us championships for years to come. They're young and they're good, and they've not even reached their ceiling yet. they have ways to go in terms of improvement. So this is what really turned the Soufriere team around. These three young men. And don't get me wrong, I'm not excluding the other players on the bench. We have players like Gracious Octave, who Gracious can be a starter on our team, but he has made the sacrifice to come off the bench and be like a coach on the bench. We have players like, even I have a son in there who's actually playing national basketball, and we couldn't even find minutes for him. And we have other players there that they're good enough to actually be on the starting five, but we cannot find enough playing time for them. So I think a second team will have to be an option for next year.
Okay, with that being said, I also saw the likes of Hezi there as well, and even Manasseh.
That is correct.
As well too.
Yeah, big shout out to Manasseh. Manasseh was another key factor for us. And those are just young, raw players. They're not even properly trained yet. So can you imagine what the sky is? I mean, the sky is the limit for us when it comes to Soufriere basketball.
With that being said, I was about to ask you, have you all even maybe foresee in terms of the vision playing internationally as well? Going against the Lakers.
Nah, we're not on that level yet. But coincidentally, it's a coincidence that you said that. We actually, last year, we got invited to play in the Creole basketball competition. So what that is Dominica, Martinique, Guadeloupe, St. Lucia, basically the Creole-speaking islands. I think they included Trinidad in it. So it's a regional tournament. Especially Dominica, they love playing us. They love playing us because every time they play us, you get a good game. You get a good game. So they love playing us. I think last year they went to Dominica. That's where it was being held. So this year, late August, we will be traveling to play the regional tournament, the Creole basketball tournament. So all our to-be sponsors and our current sponsors, I'm putting it out there for you this morning.
And you're on the right platform as well, to encourage persons. And if there's need to set up a GoFundMe, that can also be welcome as well. Yeah. So this is your time, Mr. Denis, to make your pitch. We didn't know of the upcoming game for August. Take it away.
Okay. Well, as you know, we like I said, we travel to a Creole-speaking island every year after the national tournament because we are victors of the national tournament. We automatically get an invite to that competition. So it's going to cost us a little over 20 grand to get everybody. And the thing is, some of the players, some of them still go to school and whatnot. So we try our best to cover as much of the cost as we can. So this year is going to be held in Guadeloupe. It's going to be held in late August. So we're already training for this. So we would like the support of the community, however small it is. And I know we're not the only persons who looking for sponsorship for various reasons whatsoever. But whatever sponsors can do, great and small, to help support us. Like you said, probably we will set up a GoFundMe and we will put on social media account number. You can make a deposit. If you see myself or Clayton or Ross, you could always contribute towards the cause. And it's a good experience. I think it's only going to get better for us taking part in that regional tournament because other eyes are going to be on us, and probably the younger players will get opportunities coming out of that. So it's in late August. We will be having some fundraising activities to help towards the cost of that.
Thank you for that. With that being said, what has been the key to building such strong team and having that chemistry and the bond, between those guys? And I love where everybody gets the nickname like SpongeBob and Blast and so forth,
Let me be honest. It's being honest is the best thing, and being open is the best thing. You have different relationships as a coach with different players. Let's just use Bob, for example. Bob and I, man, sometimes we at each other. At the beginning, it was a little frustrating for me, to be honest. And he's listening, I know but then I realized Bob and I just want the same thing. We just want to win. Now, do we decide on how we get there? No, we don't always decide. We don't always in agreement on how we get there, but we both want to win. So I think it starts with just being open. So like I told you, when I took over the team, I remember the day I literally went back and forth with everybody on WhatsApp, especially the starting five. I'm like, hey, this is what I expect from you. So we set the standard for everybody. I told them, yo, this is what I expect from you. This is your roles. This is your responsibility when it comes to offense, when it comes to defense. Bob is really and truly the heart of our team. And that's why I always get on him, because I tell him how you flow is how we flow. Because he interconnects, and he's the person that helps the most off the court in terms of getting us organized, getting everything done for us, sponsorship, everything. He does all of that. So he's of great importance to us where that is concerned. And I keep on telling him, you're also important on the court. We need you to be there. We need you to be in the right mind, because when you flow, we flow even better. And it's not just him, it's everybody on the court. But you have different players that just by how they are assume different roles, and he's the heart and soul of our team. So I'm always at him. We always at each other. But at the end of the day, I know that it's just that he wants to win, and I want to win too. I hate losing. I hate losing.
No one.
I hate losing. Listen to me. You don't understand. I hate losing. I hate losing so much. So anything I don't know how to play, I'm not going to play. I just don't want to lose. I don't like losing. So he's that way. So
he's listening.
He's listening. So he's really one of the pivotal points. So he's being honest. I say to him everything I want to tell him, and he says everything back. But at the end of the day, we know it's all love. And that's how I think that's one of the most important things when you're building a team. You have to be honest. Just be honest with them. If they're not doing well, tell them they're not doing well. Because when I'm not doing well, they tell me, Coach, you're not doing well. And I mean, it's not always nice to hear that you're not doing well. But hey, I do better because and they, like I told you, they're high IQ players. They'll tell me why I'm not doing well, and then I have to just understand, hey, they're right. So it's that growing process. It develops trust. You get to learn to trust the guys that you're with, because if you fall in short, they're gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you when they fall in short likewise.
Definitely. And that leaves me with the burning question. How do you balance your discipline and encouragement if your team, your players, how you balance that, especially you have good days, you have bad days as well?
You have to treat every player differently. We have two areas on our team. We have the more senior players where I could outright say, yo. So for example, let me use Lindsay as a good example. Lindsay scored one of the daggers in that the championship game for us. And I've been at him for that for the longest while. I've been telling him, Ross, game on the line, we need one shot. It's you. Make it, don't make it. That's your responsibility. And other games he would have passed. And he took a free. He took it. And when it went in, I was like, yeah. I got to that point, I was like, yeah, he gets it now. And I think he understood now. So you have to treat every player differently. Like Lindsay, Ross, Gracious, I could just outright say but the younger players, they're a little more, they're from a different generation. So you have to be a little more diplomatic in how you get your point across to them. So you deal with all players differently, but as long as your standard is that you're being honest and they understand that you want what's best for them. I really do want what's best for every player on my team. They get to understand that it's not, you're not coming from a bad place, you're coming from a place of love with them.
Definitely. Just taking a moment, one Patak said, congratulations. And another comment from that same person, that's the call for Sydney, Kimo, and Jay-Z. Them fellas, good. Just stay humble, and these guys can be at the NBA level.
They can. I'm not sure if age is on their side, but if these, I would be honest, I'll honestly say if these guys were probably, if they grew up in the States, they would be somewhere playing at least Division One basketball, at least Division One basketball, which is not far from the NBA. But people didn't understand it's so hard to make NBA. But if you tell me, hypothetically put them in the States, grew up in the States and whatnot, all three of them would at least be playing for a major college, a Division One college in the States. I can honestly say that.
I can honestly agree with you as well. What support has the community really given to the team?
The community has given us a lot of support. One of the issues for them is that, like I said, the traveling to go to the facility. But the other thing, I can kind of blame ourselves too. We didn't put it out there enough. Because to be honest, we feel a little slighted because when the footballers won Black Hat, the love was so much, a lot more there. We felt a little slighted. We have that chip on our shoulder when it comes to that. But we understand Black Hat is a different beast altogether. The media is there. Everybody knows about it. It's more popular and whatnot. Because as a matter of fact, I think Black Hat was supposed to actually have a basketball tournament. And it was COVID that derailed that. So I think it's our fault too that we don't put enough of it out there, that the community can know. So now that I'm here, I'm hoping that come next year, we'll have a lot more support. Because listen to me, it makes a difference to hear your fans in the crowd. It makes a big difference. And even in the championship game, we were down 11 at halftime, and everybody was like, I'm like, nah, we have a long way to go. The game is not over yet. And our crowd was what really kept us, in that game and really encouraged us to as we started chipping down the lead, having your fans there, rallying with you and jumping and screaming and helping you in any way, shape, or form they can, it helps. So we're looking forward to next year to have a lot more support from the community where that is concerned.
Which is true. And may I, right here and now, extend, I mean, the platform is always available. You can always reach out to me as well any given day
Yes.
that you want to come in for publicity. That's never a problem whatsoever. So let the, be that starting point for that.
Yeah, thank you very
Let's
much.
not be
We'll do it a lot earlier next year. We'll start a lot earlier where that is concerned, so that we will have the support of our community where that is concerned.
And even with that being said, what are you doing also to nurture the young, talented ones from the school level?
Well, like I say, Coach Antoine is doing a great job at Soufriere Comprehensive. Give my hearts out to him. They also integrated with us on the court, so they actually play along us on the court. So I'm hoping that will help them develop, because Soufriere Comprehensive does really well at basketball, at a lot of sports, but especially basketball. They do really well year after year. You can either expect them to be either in the semifinals or quarterfinals or even the finals every year. They do a really good job. So we do have a program. So like I was saying, I'm really contemplating. I really hope that it can work this time to have 2 Soufriere teams come next year. So we're gonna have the primary team and Soufriere Kings, and we probably might have to call the other team the Soufriere Princes. A lot younger players, just to give them that experience, because a lot of players can play really well, but sometimes when it comes to playing in front of a crowd or at that level, they tend to, not play at their best. So if we can give them that experience early on, I think that will help us, because I've been observing the other teams around the country, and one of the things I realize is that in as much as you love the game as an older player, you have to realize when it's time to hang it up. And I find what we have is a lot of players on these teams, a lot of older players on these teams who refuse to hang it up. And they should have already hung it up, either to coach or to support the teams or just be fans. And it hinders the progress of the younger persons coming up. Because listen to me, I keep on telling them that any player that is not on our starting 5 that puts in the work in terms of practice and gets better, and if you get to the point that you are actually better than somebody in my starting 5, I will put you in the starting 5. I will literally go to whoever you're better than and say, hey, we have a much better player than you. And I don't care. Not that I don't care. It's not something that's going to be easy to do, but for the betterment of the team, if you are better, you are better. If you have put in the work and that you are better than my starting 5, then I will replace anyone on the starting 5 as long as I can get a player that's better. At the end of the day, that's what we're about. We're about championships. We're not about feelings. We're just about championships, and we'll do what we have to do to stay on top. Because it's nice being on top. I can tell you that it's nice when we go to the tournament to see the hit from the others. I love that. It's exhilarating. So we want to stay on top, and we'll do whatever we have to do to stay on top.
Okay, Mr. Blas. With that being said, what is the tagline? We love staying on top. Is that it?
Yeah, I could say that we love being on top, but it comes with hard work. It's not easy. It's not easy just being on top. It's one thing to be there, it's another thing to stay there, and you have to work hard to get there, but you also have to work hard to stay there. I guess that's the tagline. Which
is true, and a lot of the times we've seen when persons have given a great performance and coming on top, they tend to be really laid back, while as lackadaisical, it's like, oh, we've won already, we have nothing further to do, we just remain unbothered, and that is not the case at all.
This season was a perfect example. I probably shouldn't confess that, but we aim to win every game. But what can happen with a very good team? You can get complacency. So there are sometimes there's a particular game. I'm not going to mention which game. There's a particular game we lost, and I was not happy that we lost, but I use that loss to our benefit. I think sometimes you have to get the attention of players, and it got their attention. It got their attention because who we lost to, we were not supposed to have lost to that team at all. But we lost to that team. Could we have won? Yes. But we lost to that team. And it was good because sometimes you have to get the attention of players, especially when you're on top. You get complacent. And that's a very serious thing, to think that, okay, on any given day, you can just walk in and win. No, you have to give your best on every day. And you cannot just say, well, boy, we are defending champions back to back. Yeah, listen to me. For us to flip it, to win next year, listen to me, there are so many things that will go against us. No, these guys up north, they're not going to sit back and watch us win 3 in a row from Soufriere. That's not going to happen. And they're going to go the distance to see to it that it does not happen. So we have to make sure that coming into next year that we are ready and we are not complacent, because it's very hard to win anything nationally 3 times in a row. So that is our plan to do that. And I do believe that if we do what we're supposed to do, we will come out as champions next year also.
And how do you think you can use your team to foster local programs, not just in schools, but maybe the community overall, or even maybe going outside of Soufriere as well to creating that name?
Yes.
Maybe even our next door neighbors can reach Wazelle, so forth.
Now, countries, when it comes to basketball, you can consider countries and Soufriere one. We actually have a player from countries playing on our team, because most of the players from countries actually play on the teams, and the school team at Soufriere Compre. So we're always familiar with our countries, and we consider our countries players like we don't see them any different, because most times you would have played basketball together with them at Soufriere Compre. So we see them as one. And now that we have that platform, that you said, we should look into more. Summer is coming up, probably summer program. I know Clayton has a summer program, and he has a program, after school program for younger players. So we have started that, and we should use our platform to encourage more growth. And not just basketball, not just come and talk about basketball, come and talk about life. You know, the importance of discipline, the importance of doing well at school, the importance of working and to, you know, save and try to accomplish something, because that's what it's all about. It's not just about what happens on the court. I try to a lot to talk to my players about what happens off the court with them and to guide them accordingly, because you want to see everyone, I mean, do well in life where that is concerned.
Which is true. And it just about, again, it takes me to you as a police officer, you as a family, you as a coach. What is there for the well-being of those persons and also yourself?
Can you repeat the question?
You're a police officer,
Uh-huh.
you're a coach, you're a husband,
Mm-hmm.
so many hats that you have wearing as well. We have to look at our overall well-being, mental health, and our physics. If the mind is not right, definitely, you know,
correct,
you
yeah.
cannot give 100%. So what is really being put in place for those players as well too? Because they're coming from different backgrounds, homes, and I mean, pressures, things that we are not fully aware of, but yet still they're able to hide, you know, just put on a mask and deliver.
I think in one way, being part of the team is an escape for them, and let's call it a pressure release also.
It is.
And for those who don't have that community, in terms of family, for those who have, you know, fatherless homes is a serious issue in our society. For those who don't have that father figure, I'm hoping that, you know, some way, shape, or form, whether it be myself, Ross, Gracious, SpongeBob, the older players will provide that, because you'll be surprised how much people observe you. They may not actively say it, but they'll look at your life and they'll try their best to. So it's always important to do well in all aspects. So it's always important for me as a police officer. I try my best to do things the right way all the time, because you never know who's watching. As a father, as a husband, I try my best to hold myself up to us. I'm not perfect, not am I saying I'm good. I'm just saying every day I wake up to try my best to hold myself up to that standard, because you never know. They look at you. You think they don't look at you, and they look at your life and see. They do look. And, you know, even when on the court, like I say, myself and the senior player, we try our best to, if we know something is going on, to at least have the conversation with them, you know, what's going on, everything good, whatnot. So I think that's one of the biggest thing about sports in general. It gives kids that escape and that sense of purpose, that sense of belonging, especially for young men, to actually be part of a team that you have older men that you can look up to. Man, that changes a lot. It's good for young men growing up. So I'm hoping that we are we having that impact on our young players, our young men, and especially the young boys on the court. I'm hoping that we are having that impact. So for me personally, I try my best to hold myself up to a standard where, you know, I don't bring disrespect to myself, my marriage, my family, my team, my work. I try my best not to find myself in situations where I could bring, you know, disrespect to these areas.
Which is true. And then those are good morals that any individual should keep as well. So putting that face and being an example for other persons as well to definitely follow would really build on your moral. Let me ask in terms of, we saw the observance of Father's Day, and I'm asking the business a little. Was there any activities on a club level?
No, we did not have any. As a matter of fact, we only have 3 fathers, if I am to be correct, on the team. Myself, Linzel, and Gracious. I don't know if the others have any kids they don't know about, but yeah, for the most part, we have 3 fathers. And that's a good suggestion. We probably should look into having that. But even as a society, we can do better on Father's Day, to be honest. I know why probably a lot of persons look kind of, away when it comes to Father's Day, but we can do better as a society when it comes to Father's Day because, there are fathers there, and there are fathers that are doing their job and trying their best.
We come under a lot of pressure for Father's Day where the fathers believe they're being unappreciated, unnoticed, and for mothers, we go all out. Your thoughts to that?
On a societal level, I do agree that that happens, but I cannot ignore why it happens. Because if you have a society that fathers being in the home is an issue, then how can you have that big celebration? So, for example, let me use a stat that is really surprising. I'm going to use the States because they usually have a lot better stats. You're 20 times more likely to go to jail in the States if you don't have a father in the house. 20 times more likely. And one of the things we men need to understand, not women, us men need to understand that sometimes just being there, sometimes there are households that I know that the fathers are just present. They're not present and doing what they're supposed to. They're just present. Because what you learn from your father is discipline. The father's role is discipline, and also to provide and to protect. Sometimes just being there alone changes a child's trajectory a whole lot. So fathers should not underestimate themselves, but as a society, I do agree, we can do better when it comes to elevating fathers.
Nice. And I hope you all are listening as well too. Just being present says it all. And if I were to add as well, so some of us, I mean, the females are a bit too hard and harsh on the fathers as well. And we hear them say, they present us with tools, send us to the garden. Why not send us to a spa? I mean, they do work exceedingly hard.
Yes.
So why not send us to a spa? Why not arrange a nice lunch or even a dinner? The mothers get all the gratitude, and all the fancy stuff,
Let me spark.
I feel for them sometimes.
Let me spark something.
And I think there's some truth to that.
There is some truth to that. I'm gonna start the fire here. I may not be there for the end result of it. When it comes to fathers, I think the mothers also have a responsibility in the outcome. Because listen to me, the mothers are the ones technically choosing the fathers. So some responsibility should be borne on the mothers also for their choices. Won't you agree, Gabrina?
Yes, I do, very much so.
So there's that. But we can do better as
which
fathers.
is true. Hey, reaching out to Clayton William. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much. Let's go back to the Soufriere Kings. What is next after the win? I know you've spoken about next year as well, coming in a lot stronger. But then on an integral level, what is next? What after this win?
Well, after this win, we're currently training for, like I told you, the Creole tournament in August, late August. That is the next thing we have. But you said something, and as a coach, I'm going to really try my best for us to use our platform to affect other areas of our community. Yeah, because if you are the team representing the community and you are receiving support from various components of the community, it's incumbent upon you to use what you have, your platform right now, to affect other areas in the community. So I think we're going to strongly look towards what else can we do in terms of helping our community. That's going to be very important for us.
15 minutes to the hour of 11 a.m. in Soufriere St. Lucia, of course, the Eastern Caribbean. What message do you have for aspiring athletes as well, looking up to your team?
But the number one, the most important thing, well, two things. Discipline, man, it's I cannot say it enough how far discipline is going to get you. You have to be disciplined. You have to be disciplined to do the work that even when there is no training, but you on your own doing your own discipline in that aspect, discipline in how you conduct yourself, especially off the court. If there's one thing I hate to see is a athlete representing Soufriere off the court is not disciplined in their own person, and you cannot say, "Oh, it's my own personal life. I can do what I want." I'm like, no. I've told my team that many times. As long as you're wearing the uniform of whatever Soufriere team you're playing for, listen to me. You better conduct yourself off the court. Discipline is very important, and it kind of intertwines into, if you discipline, then you're coachable. The worst thing you can be as an athlete is not be coachable, because as long as you get to the point that you feel you cannot be coached, that is your limit. That is how good you will get. You will not get any better than that. Yeah, that means that you will not take any song advice from anybody else. You just feel, well, you made it already, and that would be your limit. And you never know. You trying, the coach is trying to get more out of you because they see more out of you. Because the thing is, as a coach, sometimes certain players hear me talk about other players and they're like, but coach, he's not like that now. No, I look at him and I can see what he can be, because I don't coach for where you are now. I coach for where you can be. So, that is important. You have to be coachable, you have to be disciplined, and you have to be serious to come and put in the work to get to where you want to go. And right now, there's nothing like you're not going to leave. It's so, the world is at a place right now, you can literally have a child running track, record their events, and you as a parent can send it to a college in the States and say, here is my son, this is how he's performing here, there, and everywhere. And you can actually do that even without the Ministry of Sports involved. You can actually get your child into a college in the States just based on that. There is no middleman now anymore. You can directly contact the schools and say, this is my son, this is my daughter, and this is how they perform, and can they get an opportunity? Don't get me wrong, it helps when the ministry is involved. But if your child is really at that level, you can do that even without the ministry being involved. That's the world we live in right now, especially with our Olympic winner right now or whatnot. All eyes are on Celestia when it comes to sports.
Definitely. Enlighten me in terms of, at what age can someone join the basketball team, and what are the requirements per se?
We don't really cater for the very, very young now. As you see, like you remember, like Gigs has an academy for very young, and probably that's where we need to get to, because the earlier you get them playing, the better. Because what happens is that sometimes when they're very young, they end up coming on the court and doing their own thing, and the bad habits start there. And it's very hard. So, for example, if you're shooting up, there's a particular way to shoot. There is a right way to shoot a basketball. But if you started playing basketball and you were never taught the right way, you'll do like, you start coming on the court, let's say start coming on the court at 8 years old. You go from 8 to 15 shooting the wrong way. And you come or 16, 17 the wrong way. And you come now on the Soufriere team and I'm like, hey, this is not the right way to shoot. Not only, because the response you get from most of them is, but coach, that's how I've been shooting my whole life. And you're like, no, there's a right way. And not only do you get that response, it's very hard now to retrain muscle memory to do something different. It's very, very hard. So it takes, like, if you really want to change your shooting form, it might take you 3 months of everyday work just to get that change, because you have to change your whole muscle memory and whatnot. Yeah.
Your thoughts on why aren't females allowed on the court to play basketball?
I won't say they are not allowed. I would say that we have not created the opportunities for them. I'll be honest where that is concerned. The opportunities for them. I won't say they're not allowed, because I know of a young lady in Soufriere, Ricky's daughter, Ricky Whisper's daughter, that comes to the court and plays with the boys. The other thing is that there are not enough of them. You understand? So for the least you will need to play on it, you need like 10 for the least. So to play actually train, you need 5 on offense, 5 on defense. So for the least you'll need 10 girls, and we do not have 10 girls. So
in my younger self, I tried some things on the court. When I lived in the city, actually, I was taught a few things. I can't tell really the name, but I know I had to dribble, a few times, and then put it in the hoop and stuff, which of course I managed to do that 3 or 4 times.
But not cutting you short, I'm putting this plea out. The only sport that we have that is not currently active is the netball. And I'm really putting that plea out to the netballers. And I'm even extending probably our court, if they could probably come up with a rim or whatnot, our court for them, because the 2 games are very similar. And netball used to play a very integral part of sports in Soufriere. I remember we had very good netball teams, and I hope I'm probably a veteran netball player is hearing me right now and has the ability to do that. Please bring netball back to Soufriere. Please, it's going to help a lot of the young ladies, because even my daughter has started at a primary school level with Coach Vern from Fonse Jacques. We need to bring netball back. It's crucial. So even if we have to share our court in the meantime, because I'm not too sure the condition of the netball court. I don't think it's even, yeah, they broke it down. Even if we have to share our basketball court with them, I think it's important that we bring netball back to Soufriere. So I'm really hoping that happens before, I mean, within the next year. It's important to bring netball back to Soufriere.
So you see so much to talk about, huh? And I hope you guys are listening. Please go out there and encourage persons. We need the netball lovers to make a play as well. It is one of the sports as well, and we do not want to die out. We want to have a lot of young persons, if possible, trained, in that particular field. Sports, it is something, that again develop the young mind and keeps you off the streets. It disciplines you as well. And if we were to talk about discipline as well, I think one should always be open-minded as well and accept changes when they do come to.
Yes, change is important. The only thing constant is change.
Definitely. And it is now 10 minutes to the hour. Before you leave, I just want to pick your brain. Using your team, if you were to change 3 things in the community, what would they be?
For one, netball. We would really want to help with bringing netball back, because in the past we've always seen netball as a reflection of basketball, so we've always had that closest. That's one. In the community, well, for us also, like you spoke about, starting with the children at a very young age. I really hope that in time to come, and it takes a while, because there's a lot of things I wanted to change as soon as I came in, but I came to realize that some things you can change right away. Some things it takes time to build to get to that point. So another thing would be starting to get the kids started at a lot earlier age. There are a number of things if we had to change the community that we could. But from a basketball perspective, I would say before next year, get people more in touch with what's going on with us, because you do have a very good team that have national champions back to back. And I think that's something we all should be proud of, and they should know a lot more about what's going on with us. So I would say probably these 3 things just off the bat.
Definitely, and put yourself out there more.
Yes, that is correct.
What is your quote? What drives you through a day to day?
For me personally, it starts with it starts with just my family, making them proud, especially my kids. It's one thing to tell kids, do this, do that. It's another thing to model it to them. And your kids will only see what you model to them. Forget what you say to them. They'll see what you model to them. So just as a person trying my best to excel in every aspect. For now, we're talking about the basketball team, trying my best to excel in every aspect of that. For me personally, I'm looking towards probably even, I'm not ruling out coaching the national team either. Yes, because I do believe that if you are the coach of the team always winning every year, you should have a slot somewhere where the national team is concerned. So I am considering the national team also, but that's ways away. That's ways away. Like I said, there are even better coaches on our team, more qualified coaches. We have SpongeBob, who's a qualified coach, So I'm looking towards that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's end nicely with your shout out. If you have anybody, your family members celebrating the birthdays today, or even within team itself.
Okay, well, I would have to shout out my team. You guys are wonderful. You guys have you don't know how much the impact they've had. They don't know the impact that they've had on my life where that is concerned, to be able to come in and for them to accept me as the coach. And like I say, it's not always been easy. It's not always easy for us, because the good thing about men is that men just say, I mean, when you have a group of men anywhere working on one vision, they don't really care about others' feelings, which is a good thing. I mean, the women are more community-based. The women are more concerned about feelings, but they just tell you what it is, and it's up to you. So in terms of my team, I want to thank them. They've helped me become a better person, a better coach, and even just being able to listen more. I think that was one of the weaknesses I had early on, just being able to listen to them more. Listen to them, because they have a lot of good things, to say. So let me shout out to my team, Coach Dorcas, Coach Mara, those that came before us. Let me credit those that came before us to pave a way for us. And even my starting 5, my players on the bench, even my players on the bench that should be getting more playing time, but not. I want to shout out to them. Okay, I want to shout out to, like I said, my family, my daughter, happy birthday. Her birthday is on Saturday. My first daughter, it's her birthday, so happy birthday, Kayla, in advance. My wife for always supporting me in all good things. You know, she's the one that keeps pushing me to be a better father, a better husband, a better coach. And she's like, even if I miss a game, she's like, yo, she told me once, you know, when I started last year, I was kind of not too serious about it. And she pulled me up. She said, no, you committed to coaching this team. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to keep that commitment to them. And I was like, yeah, you know, you're right. So that was where a lot of that comes from. Also, that drive comes from to fulfill my commitment, to make my family proud. And for me, it's always about my family. That's where everything starts with me. If you're concerned about how you want to do where your family is concerned, you're going to excel in every other aspect of your life, because you're going to understand that everything matters to them. It connects back to them. You know, so that's where my drive is. So thanks for, especially our sponsors. Before I forget, we've had persons constantly sponsoring us, you know, throughout the years. This year it was the district rep. We want to say she's been wonderful when it comes to supporting us. If we say she has not been, we'll be lying. She's been wonderful when it comes to supporting us, paying for bus, and even when the two final games, she paid for extra buses for us. So she's always been here when it comes to that aspect of it. We have the Soufriere Youth and Sports Council, of course. I must compliment them. They've been doing a wonderful job for us where that is concerned. We have Mystic Man also came out this year as a sponsor. I think years before, and Chastney has also been a major sponsor when it comes to sports, especially for us. So I have to mention them because they've been a major contributor for us. We have other sponsors that have chosen to be silent, which it doesn't matter, but we'll let you know that we appreciate the sponsorship that you've given. So in light of that, we will be reaching out to other organizations to support us in going to Guadeloupe for the regional tournament. I believe that'll be a great opportunity for our young guys, not just to travel, but to be seen on that level. You never know how we can change for them. So
on that note, let me say kudos as well. Keep up the great work. 11 a.m. in Surface and Ocean, of course, the Eastern Caribbean. What a pleasure it has been to have you here, much. Mr. Junior Denis Blas. I'll stick to Blas.
Yeah, everybody knows Blas.
Yes, to come on and provide insight on the Soufriere Kings, which of course have been working assiduously behind the scenes. And if persons do not come and speak about it, a lot of the times the good work go unnoticed. So again, I did say, let today be a change beyond the horizons for the team and even for us at Soufriere FM.
Thank you very much. I appreciate being here. Thank you to our listeners for tuning in this morning.
And once again, congratulations to the Kings, man. You all have it. And you live in, so you didn't tell me that big check I saw. What are the plans? Huh?
That check goes to, we do have a savings account at the Fonja Credit Union. It goes towards, not lights. We do pay for our own lights on the court. So if you find there's something we're falling behind where lights are concerned, some of our players actually, a lot of them are students. Let's be honest. A lot of them are students. Some of them go to SAFA. So they don't always have the funds to pay for lights. So that goes towards the lights. It goes towards if we're traveling and any other things that we need. We don't always want to be asking sponsors, but it does go towards these. So we do have an account where these funds are there, and we try our best to use it wisely because things are a little costly everywhere.
Which is true. And here I am pulling your legs to think it was going towards, the community outreach, feed the poor and so forth.
It will because, like I said, I will commit to that because we need to put ourselves out there more, not just in terms of receiving sponsorship, but we also need to, and the most important thing that we can do in the community is free. It's just our time. Your time is the most important, the most expensive things you can do. So whether we may look into programs like coming to elderly persons, clean up their house, their yards and whatnot as a team, we're going to look into doing these things to try and affect our community in a positive way.
And that in turn can create the community awareness, that you are definitely looking, to have. This is where we end. Again, immense gratitude. It's a pleasure as always to be here to facilitate on behalf of my team as well. I want to say thank you so much. Have yourself a productive day. And again, kudos to the team. A job well done.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Till next time.
Yes.